Hey guys, I'm just gonna see if anybody else drops in before I start. So I'm gonna get my stuff ready. Hey, yeah, I'm hoping that this week will be better because I went and complained a little bit about the uptime and the upspeed and stuff like that for the streaming, and so far it's been pretty good. And I'm hoping that the quality doesn't drop out on this time. So um, I think I'll give it a few more minutes and let the guys kind of wander in, and it. I guess I'm just gonna wing this one because I actually didn't have much of a topic list, so I was gonna kind of go ad lib on this one. So um, let's see. So I've been kind of busy lately. I'm actually my day job. I'm heading back down to downtown office instead of the midtown office. So it's adding about another hour of commute time in the afternoon for me. So I've been kind of eating into the design times and so like that. I'm hoping to sort of get a good rhythm going so that I can actually start to spend more time in the design again. Um, so I guess first things first. I think last time I showed you guys the this is that 20 millimeter carriage that I got it from Igus to try to see um, if I could use it as the carriage of the gantry. Um, Let me just see if I can find something compare it against. Um, I guess this is good enough. So, standard laptop mice is roughly about the same size. Um, so the what I did was I measured the front face here, and you could probably comfortably fit two E3D 36s side by side in a Bolden setup. Um, on this side. So that kind of presented a problem for me because what happened is I had originally designed the belt to be both in the front and the back of the carriage so that I was thinking that it would evenly pull the carriage across. The problem with that is that I'm wasting a lot of real estate on the face for the belt holder. So the plan is to change it up so that I only use the back face for the belts. So I'm hoping that it won't introduce any kind of racking or other alignment issues. Um, Having the belts in the back, basically, it also eliminates a lot of the extra pulley space that I would need for the front for to kind of weld the belt to the front. So gonna have to redo some of the XY joiner parts to do that. Um, I got it drawn out because I was at work and right now I'm between assignments, so I got nothing to do anyway. So I've been sort of spending my breaks on drawing it out. So I'm pretty close to getting a good um, XY joiner and the belt thing on paper, and I'll transfer that to Fusion 360. So this is, like I said, the 20 millimeter version, which uses the 2020 rod. Um, I also ordered the 12 millimeter version. So you could tell is roughly like, I guess a little less, like maybe 40% smaller than the 20 millimeter. Um, in terms of adjustments and everything else, it's got the same double on all of them. So the one thing I mentioned last time, the difference is that this one has single on top, single on the left and right, and then double on the top surface. Well, I'll call it the top surface is square, right? So it doesn't really matter, but that's top surface. The um, the smaller one actually has two on this side, two on the bottom, and one on the left and right. So that's actually a bit more symmetrical if I were to use this in this orientation, so that I could have the belt holder and the extruder on one side a little bit more evenly distribute the weight across the whole face. The problem with this one is that you could tell it's, it's just slightly shorter in length, but it's considerably shorter in height. So whereas this one, the 20 millimeter, I could fit the E3D 36 mounts this way. This one may have to protrude a little over the top. So might be a good thing, might be a bad thing. I'm not sure yet. The other problem is it won't fit two side by side for sure. So if if I were to use the 12 millimeter version, it'd probably be a single like maybe the dual extrusion one I showed you guys last time. It fits just about right in the center of this thing, and well, I'll get upside down, but right in the center of this thing, and it looks like it's gonna work out pretty well. But the problem now is that I won't be able to fit two of these um, side by side. So the but it's a 2-into-1, so hopefully this will work out, and then I could just put this there and be done with it. In terms of weight, it's about the same. This is like 2020 for us to be a little heavier, but it's not going to be that big of a weight savings. The thing that's interesting is the difference in the rods. You could tell, like, that's the 12 millimeter square rod versus the 2020. So it's considerably smaller in terms, because it's 12 millimeter on both directions. So um, this is my Igus. They specifically made this rail for this carriage, and they make a 20 millimeter version. This is a 2020 from Misumi that I bought for testing. If I do go with the 2020 carriage, I will get the matching 2020, like the 20 millimeter rail, because it feels much smoother and there's more contact surface. Um, the two, I don't know if you could tell, but see if we get a good angle here. See, you see that there's two distinct sections with a groove in the middle. That lines up exactly like with those little white tongues inside. Those tongues are actually part of the friction material. It lines up perfectly with that. Um, the the 2020, the mating surface doesn't line up, so um, it sounds a little rough um, when I move it on the 2020, but it's like silky smooth on this thing. Like, I'll put it in now and I can show you guys what it is, because I've been kind of playing around with it. Oh, and when you get it, if you do get it, there's this stopper thing that goes into the end of it. Don't pop it out without putting the rail in. Those little tongues inside get misaligned, and you have a bad time. What you do is you use the rod to basically push this stopper piece out, and it'll align all the pieces inside the rail. If you don't do that, you're gonna have such a bad time trying to realign everything. So the I haven't still haven't gotten an answer about the max band, but what I was told was 500 millimeter is within the max band limit. So it's actually, I think they were telling me about like about a 3/4 to a meter is about the limit of the 12 millimeter rail. The 20 millimeter go a little bit over a meter. So at the 500 millimeter, it is within the limit. So like you can see how just slightly tilting it and then sometimes giving a little nudge will make it work. Um, the adjustments, these two adjustments adjust the two tongues on this side, and then there's one adjustment on the back side uh, for the other one. Um, so the there's a lot of variables goes into the max band, but I guess what they're saying is that under its own weight, what is the point where it starts to sag? Um, we I have to sort of test this to see if it actually sags when I get all the extruder parts on it. But like I said, that at 500 millimeter, this is totally within where it won't sag. It won't have any issues with the weight. Um, the one thing I wanted to kind of go through was when you first get the carriage, um, it's not adjusted from the factory because the when I got it, it was sort of loose, and it moves really quick when it's loose because there's nothing holding it, right? But you have to adjust it, and the way to adjust it is I'll take off one of these dust caps. The way you adjust it, if I could get it good, is there's a little. Let me get a. Mm, mm, of course, now I'm not gonna get focus on it. There you go. There's a little nut, and inside the nut, if I could get in close up this way. Inside of this, there's a um, there's a little screw. So what that outside nut does is the outside nut actually tightens down, holds the position of that inside screw. So you have to actually loosen the outside nut and then adjust the inside screw. And once you get to a good spot, you tighten the outside to lock it in place, and then you put the dust cap back on it. Um, when you first adjust it, you sort of adjust it, tighten the nut back, and give it a good few slides around. And then you'll feel that it might not be enough. Then you kind of loosen the nut again and you adjust it again. The You might have a tendency to try to adjust this nut and this screw so that the friction piece is like right on the rail, and there's absolutely no play in it at all. That's not a good idea, mainly because it needs a little bit of play. If it's totally tight against the rail, there's no tolerance for slight misalignments or slight deformation of the rail. So even though at this spot it might be great, maybe down here it might be a little too tight. So you kind of have to make compromise. I just usually just slide it along the whole rail when I adjust that one, and then with the weight on the friction piece and see if it rides pretty well. I mean, this one is silky smooth. It's got a little bit, still got a little bit of play. I mean, if you're gonna wiggle it, you can kind of see like maybe like 0.25 of a millimeter or 0.2 a millimeter play in it. That's perfectly acceptable for what you're gonna do, because you remember, right, that this is going sideways. Most of the weight is gonna be on the rail, and if it plays a little bit this way, it's fine. The belt pulling it will compensate for that. The other thing is you want to do these in rotation. So each one of these when you tighten them, it brings the carriage into alignment with the rail. So when you adjust these two, it will affect the third, and then if you do these two, affect this third one. So what you gotta do is sort of do a little bit adjustment on one, then adjust a little bit on the other, and then come back and adjust this one. And then you see that as you adjust it, it will sort of align itself on the rail, and it is perfectly square center on this rod right now. So so that's the recap. Is basically don't try to make this ultra tight, like with no play on it, because it's gonna just not gonna slide. This is sliding really smooth right now, and there's minimal amount of play. Like I said, it's like 0.2, 0.15. My guesstimate would be about the way I would want to sort of leave it at that, and then it'll minimize the friction on it, because if it's too tight, you're basically gripping on the rail with the friction material, and you're gonna wear that down pretty quick, and you actually have more problems where we have being one down than it not being square. So um, this is also like a hollow tube, so weight wise is pretty good. I mean, I'll post some. I'll put on the scale later and post some weights on how the whole assembly with the rail and the carriage weighs, but it's minimal. I sort of like this 12 millimeter compared to the. I'll put this back so you guys should see the uh, the 20 millimeter version. So it still slides pretty well, but I mean, if I put it close to the mic, you can kind of hear it sort of have this gripping sound to it. And I adjusted this a few times already, and the play is pretty good on it. But the problem is that, like I said, I'm going to get a good picture over here. Yeah, maybe that'll get a good picture of it there. Um, I'll do a still picture later, but okay, down here you probably could sort of see it. We'll get it focus on here. The friction material is not directly on the mating surface. Because yeah, you can see probably better that way. So on all the sides, you can see it's not directly on it. So what's happening is that it's sitting like what it'll work on the 2020 rail, like on the 2020 extrusion, I should say, as a rail. The problem is that the friction material is actually not sitting. Um, I would say it's only about half is sitting um, on the actual mating surface of the 2020. And also remember, this 2020 it wasn't really designed to be a rail, right? It was kind of like extrusion. So the if I do go with the 20 millimeter version of carriage, definitely gonna get the matching, um, I guess, rail for that carriage. It just makes more sense, and I think I will do that just for completion's sake. Um, so went through the I guess carriage, kind of showed you the difference between the 12 millimeter and 20 millimeter. Haven't really made a choice between the two, but what I know is that the 2020 it was 2020 extrusion is not going to work as a rail, so gotta rule that one out. Gotta have to go and get them to send me a 20 millimeter square tube for square rail, so I could try that, see if that works any better. Um, I'm kind of leaning towards I like this 12 millimeter version because it's lighter. I'll work with this first, and then what I'll do is the XY joiner. I'll make it so that I'll have two versions, the 20 millimeter and 12 millimeter, and I guess that's gonna be part of the alpha slash beta testing. Is maybe we have a few folks on the 20 or a few folks on the 12 millimeter and see which one works out better. Because I don't really want to rule one out over the other. For myself, I want to use the 12 millimeter because I'm not going to use a single extrusion on mine. Or worst case is I'll just use the knockoff 2-into-1. So um, I think that I like the weight of it, and I like the size of it. They also, because it's shorter, it allows you to mount it higher so that you get more Z distance as well. In terms of X and Y, not really that much difference. I would think like probably if you take everything into consideration, it's probably 10 to 12, 10 to 15 millimeter difference in both directions. Minimal if you consider how big of a printer we're gonna build anyway. Um, so not much of an issue there. Um, so like I said, the change right now is um, this is the XY joiner. So normally um, the rail comes out this way, and I got belts coming from the front and belts coming to the back of the carriage as it moves along this rail. So the plan is to kind of cut this off at this spot and only use the two back ones. But what that means is I actually have to clearance all of this so that the belt could travel from the front from the front of the carriage all the way through to the back to make this turn. So it requires a whole new design, whole new piece. So um, like I won't be able to just kind of cut this one and use it. So we're gonna have to deal with this. Um, I think it'll be I'll probably work on this first just so that I could get the belt welding correct, and um, I, it probably 2 days, 2 3 days of kind of printing them out and trying them out and stuff like that, and then kind of finish the XY joiner. I'll I shouldn't say finishing. It's already finished, but I'm just redoing the XY joiner so that it would have belt in the back instead of on both sides. That'll free up the one front surface for the extruder slash hard end. The other change is I've been kind of tossing ideas around on how to add a belt tensioner to the whole thing. The problem is that the belt actually runs pretty long all the way around the whole top of the printer, and there's no spot where you could put a tensioner, and I don't want to waste any more real estate on the carriage to put a tensioner there. It just adds more complexity. So this is the idler. So the way this works, we have hmm. Give me a second, let me grab an extrusion. So the way this works is it's designed to go around like this, and the belt comes off and makes turns. So the idea is that this surface here, the belt comes and makes a turn 90 degrees to this. This surface here is kind of free. So what I was going to do was, if I use this as a prop, is basically have a some kind of attachment point here. So it pushes a bearing out this way. So when the belt comes out this way, it pushes and push tension on the belt itself and basically redirects it a little bit outward into the inside of the printer. That's going to give you about 3 or 4 millimeter of adjustment, and you have two, so you have one on the other side as well. So that allows you to use both of those and push a bearing out against the belt. Once I get the belt routing, it'll make more sense. But this gonna have a tensioner here to push against the belt. Um, it it'll allow, like I said, like about 3 millimeter or 4 millimeter of adjustment on the belt itself. Oh no, we got. Looks like we had our first frame drop. Okay. Think we're back. So let's just sort of let me just go and see that if it's okay. Okay. Um. So like I said, I want to add the tensioner on the idle itself and see if I could make it so that it has a um bearing that comes out and pushes against the belt and gives it enough adjustment on the tension so that it will do that. What else can I talk about? Oh, so um, Joey with the mini ramble problem. Um, the um, I had the problem on two different mini rambles where uh, the connector got extremely hot. So one of them actually ended up melting. So that was my first, and I had a big problem with that one. And what I did was I actually bought a second mini Rambo, and I sent it away. So they cross shipped me the one. So I paid for one from OT Machine. They shipped me one, and then in the same box, I shipped them back the one with the melted connector and everything. I included the connector, included everything, and I said, hey, you know what? Like, I know I don't want to deal with it. Can you replace the connector? And they looked at it. They said, yeah, they can replace connector. So they actually desoldered the original one and put a new one on. I got that one back. It's working like a champ. They sent me two or three new connectors um, for the wires, and then that's the one I'm using on Haribo 0B right now. On the Haribo 0A, that one started getting really hot about last month. Sometime last month, it got really hot. Like if you reach in with your finger and actually touch the connector as the bed is heating up, the heatbed connector got extremely hot. So I was concerned. I swapped it out for the spare I had because I got it back from Multi Machine. I swapped it out for a spare. The pins were like totally gray on it. It was like oxidized. Um, I took it, and I think Les looked at it, and he cleaned it up a bit for me. Put some of that unicorn tears in it, and replaced the connector. It's been working fine, and then it started going again. What we noticed was that the lamb cord they use for the stock heat beds, they suck. They will burn. They'll burn out. Like they're not meant for what we're gonna use it for. And then with the constant movement, and especially with the Haribo, we're moving so fast, it will eventually yank itself out of the connector or put enough strain sideways to sort of make a partial connection. And actually, what he Les said was that partial connection is actually worse because it's actually causing what I think John mentioned is causing arcing. So when you have something close but not close enough, it's gonna arc and jump across. Um, the That creates a hot air pocket and it starts to get hot, and then it starts to oxidize the air around it, and then um, it starts to get really like basically it's just spiraling downward effect. It's getting worse and worse and worse as time goes on. So um, he was nice enough to replace all the wires on both my beds. I had two more has to do. Um, with silicone wire that is totally ultra flexible, and with that one actually totally solved the issue. We put new fields on it and put it on the bed. Absolutely no problems at all up to 75 on when I that's what I print on PTG is 75. Absolutely no issue with the PTG 75. The heat up time is about the same. I think even think is a little bit faster on heat up time. So I'm kind of happy with that. So it's been running like a champ on both printers like that. So I would say if you've been having problems with your bed heating slowly or having issue going past 75, 80 or whatever your temperature is for ABS, probably look at the replacing the lamp cord with the silicone wire, and then maybe even heavier gauge like John did, and then also check the connector. The what I think with those unicorn tiers is just basically conductive enhancer, was conduction enhancer or something like that. But it's very expensive. I mean, he gave us a few drops on the connector and it fixed everything, but it's like god awfully like expensive for a bottle. You don't need a few drops, so I'm not sure if it's worth your time to do it. I would just say replace the wire, replace connector. You get the connectors pretty cheaply. There was a place that sold mostly printed CNC. I'm trying to remember the name now. I bought the mini RAM from him because his only came with the board itself and maybe one connector. Um, he would if you bought a bunch, he would send you a bunch of connectors. But I think I bought three from him. I sold two. I ended up keeping one. Um, he gave me like three connect or four connectors total. But the nice thing about that place is that it was like $90, $95, something like that, versus like 120 that you get from Ultimate Machine. The problem with Ultimate Machine is that this comes in a kit, so it comes with the end stops and all the other jazz that we don't use anyway. So with this guy, I'll find the link. With this guy, you basically buy the board and vicious circle CNC. That's what it is. Um, because most the CNC guys they don't have heat bed, so $85. So I'll put the link into YouTube. The the link is in the chat now, so I just put it in the chat. So hopefully it comes across soon. Um, the $85. I mean, you really can't go wrong with that deal. Get it for a spare. So what else I talk about the mini Rambo? Oh, so the other thing is I also used the nylon um, that comes with it. I actually put it so that it would wrap water around the entire thing and make sure that it's seated correctly in the heat bed cover. It provides a lot of strain relief so that it's not you're not killing the connection point. Um, those are the two things that I think you have to kind of watch out for. And people's been complaining about them blaming user error. It's I always felt that it was this design issue, so it's like you're not there's no arguing with them about it, so just kind of fix it yourself. Um, while on the subject of heat beds, the uh, the MK42 clone right now is in production right now. I should be getting them next week. They have to go get the resistor and the LED installed, get it tested, and then I gotta package them up and I'll have to go back on Tindy store. Um, if you, what I'll do is it's gonna be a that since you guys have been waiting for so long for the MK42 clone, there's gonna be a $10 off each bed once I get it in the store. And then basically I have about 60 available. Um, once they sold out, then that I'll probably gonna have to wait for another month for the orders to pile up before it makes sense to sort of put in a big order for another 60 to 100 pieces. So these boards getting tested, they be same flatness as the other ones, same resistance. So they'll be a lot flatter than the stock ones you guys are getting. So hopefully, I'll have them in the store next week. And I have to order the standoffs too, but those are easy. No wires though, so the wires and the thermistor you're gonna have to deal with it yourself. Most guys will probably know how to get those anyway. The thermistor is just any standard 100K thermistor with the and you just attach the wire. If you have an old board that you are kind of replacing, you salvage off the old board and just put it on the new one. Um, if not, you probably just get them on the AliExpress anyway. I'll keep you guys updated. I mean, I think knocking $10 off the price and keeping it there for the 60 pieces, I think makes a good deal for people who want to keep an extra board around. Um, let's see what else did I really miss? Trying to remember now. Yeah, I had a. I'm gonna vent a little. I had a 3D hubs order the other day. The guy was like wanted this CPU DLIT tool. So I don't know if you guys have heard of that. Basically, on the Intel CPU, there's a metal cover, a heat spreader, and what people told me is that the heat spreader sucks off the like from Intel. They don't put enough thermal grease or whatever, or too much or whatever it is. The thermal interface between uh, the lid and the CPU is bad. So this is basically put the CPU in there and you slam it in and it's supposed to delit the whole thing. So the guy sends a order for this and it's like 0.1 millimeter height and he wanted like at least 35% fill. So I did this in PLA Plus because I know how he's going to use it and I want to make sure it's good and it's 45% fill. And I felt kind of bad because like at the time I felt kind of bad because it was like $22. That's what I was gonna charge him for this, so made him a second, thinking you know what I'm just gonna and I did it ahead of time. He didn't pay me yet, so I did it ahead of time, thinking give him a pair just in case he breaks one. He still has a pair. That was like let's say Monday night 9 o'clock, and I put it overnight. Next day I got it all ready. I was like emails him. I was like, hey, they're ready. Go pay for them, and I'll ship them out to you. Guy cancels the order. Hasn't heard from him since. So now I got two D-Lit 2s. So, if you're local and you want it, you come and get him. Whatever, I don't care. It didn't, the whole point was that, like, I did it and I was being a nice guy, give him two pieces for the price of one. That guy just takes off. Um, anyway, let's just go shopping a bit. Let's go to. Let's talk about PLA Plus from Filament.ca. So, um, I'm gonna get them to send me send me a sample of this because I really want to try this. Supposedly, what this is I think is similar to John's Maker Geek stuff. In annealing a PLA Plus. So like if you guys read that, but basically it says a 2 kilogram 910 millimeter 20 millimeter steel rod dropped from 3 feet high on a 25 millimeter cube 50% infill. So this is standard PLA, and this is their version of PLA, but not annealed. It's held up pretty good compared to the PLA. They haven't even annealed it yet. Supposedly is it gets pretty good impact resistance once you anneal it. And the price isn't that bad. Like 55 snow pesos we get you, I don't know, let me see. Going too fast here, I think. 1 kilo. It's actually that's not too bad actually. $55 for a kilo of PLA plus. I'll probably get. I'll probably buy. I should use the word get because when I use the word get, people have this implicit thing that I get something for free or something. No, I'll buy the PLA Plus from Filament.ca. Absolutely no affiliation, no links, nothing. I'll just buy straight out and I'll do a test on the Cube parts and see how well it holds up because um, uh, the PTG is nice, but there's not a lot of good colors. I really like this Battleship Gray, so I'm gonna go get this. 55 bucks a roll. I think that's reasonable. I'm gonna grab a roll of that and give it a try, see how well it works out. Um, yeah, a lot of people have been calling their stuff PLA Plus. I think um, the thing is that in honestly, there's, let's say, in each region, like North America, Asia, and Europe and stuff like that. Um, there's only so many um, filament pellet pellet or pellet, pellet. Those little um, the source material that the filament manufacturers they buy and they melt into a string for you. There's only so many manufacturers of um, those pellets. So the PLA, depending on because PLA is plant based. From what I heard, is that Asia tends to use sugarcane. And we're back. So that was another interruption. Hopefully that's the last for the night. So different regions use different plant material to create the PLA input, like the pellets. So the guys in Asia they use sugarcane because readily available is cheap. I got to get the info for North America and for Europe, but they all use different plant-based inputs for the PLA. So um, these guys, the North, like from what I've been trying, the the PLA, the Filament.ca PLA prints way better than eSun and with the Prusa stuff. It just works for our environment for some reason. It works really well, so I really like that. And hopefully this PLA Plus one is going to be good um, for it's going to be good for some of the stronger parts that we need to print. Let's see. Let's move on to the next thing. So a lot of people have been having issues or running out of belts or whatever and pulleys. And again, I will post this link later. Let's see if they do e-packet. They don't do e-packet. I'll find one that does e-packet. But $3 gets you two 16 um 216 teeth pulleys and like 2 meters of belt for 242 US free shipping. Um, I don't see the reason why you wouldn't get three, four, or five of these. Like there's gonna be different. You're gonna find different stores selling almost the same thing. Some of them come with more pulleys. Others will come with more bearings, like the flange bearings that we like to use for idler. Just pick a few and buy them and have them around because you never know when you need to replace the belt. And at $3 is cheap. Um, the the 2 meters will be more than enough for one side. You probably need two for the both sides, like you have two different belts. So I'm telling you, it might be the laptop's overheating and it's dropping frames because it is getting really hot on the board right now. And anyway, let's just kind of finish up. Um, 2 meters were more than enough for the cube. Or like I said, on one side, on the other. So just if you're gonna do the cube, just buy a few of these and have them on their way. I mean, it's gonna take a month if you're gonna pay for normal free shipping. It's gonna be like $3. So just buy them and it gets here, surprises you. If it doesn't get here, it's $3. Um, this was the thing I was gonna talk about. I think a few of the guys on the chat had the issue of finding the correct pancake motor for the for the Titan. I know for sure this one works. This is from TiVo. Um, they've been including this in their knockoff Titan for a while now, and this works. So if you want to kind of get the specs or whatever you need off of this particular motor, they rebranded it from somebody else anyway, so you could probably find the correct motor um, for what you need to do. The This is, like I said, this is the one that they include in their Titan kit. So this is what I would suggest. Rob, I have not looked at the filament ICA PC because I'm scared of printing polycarbonate on the printer right now. The sort of highest temperature material I've been printing on there is PTG, and um, I'm sort of scared to go polycarbonate. I did pick up last time. I think I mentioned it as well. Um, Nylon, and I got some 230 nylon from what's that? What's that company called? Talman's. Yeah, 230 nylon, and then I got the high strength PETG. They call it guideline. I can bring it up now actually, since we have it on there anyway. Um, yeah, this one. No ABS because I don't want the smell, and the fan doesn't really suck up all the fumes. So I only use PTG for the high. Um, yeah, I might do that actually, Bob. I might send you a few models you could try out. This is what I got. Talman's Tech G, PTG. The box says Guideline. I'm not sure why they call it Tech G here, but it's called title. This says Guideline. Um, the the material is actually pretty good. I think the this chart here, I think it shows Tech G here. Um, and this is ABS. So and this is polycarbonate. So um, there's also minimal shrinkage as well. So the only thing is rather expensive. I mean, um for 1 kilo at $50. So that's why I'm looking at. Oh man, yeah, they call this guideline on the box. I'll grab the box next time. It's over there, but I'll show you guys next time. But the box has guideline on it, and but on the site it says Tech G. So um, yeah, see, like I don't know why they call it Tech G here, but I think maybe it's the newer one. I'm gonna see how well this holds up again, because for some reason it's dropping out again. Might be time to get that PF Sense box going, because maybe I'm overwhelming the uh, the upload speeds on this. It's been a while, man. This I've had this router for so long now. I mean, it's only uploading what 350K. There's absolutely no down. Like, I was blaming my dad before, but it's like it's actually got absolutely no download right now, and it's only been uploading 350K a second. Uh, let's see how it holds up. Log out of this. So I'm gonna try to get a box going with the PF Sense. I think that makes more sense because that I'm probably killing that box that's sitting over there, that little router, that Asus router had for like 5 years now. Um, Anyway, yeah, like filming SCA site, it's been sort of like stale, I would say. Maybe that's what I would call it. Um, yeah, I should try some of the polycarbonate and see what happens. So I actually got I got a bunch of stuff from E3D as well the other day. Put myself back on FaceTime here. I'll find something else to show you guys. Um, so I went to E3D online the other day and then picked up a whole bunch of stuff from there because I needed to replace some blocks. The heater blocks because I was like, um, I don't print with a sock, so the PTG got all stuck on the block itself, and then on one of them, got so bad you can't even see the metal. That's how much crap was stuck on it. Um, so I just got like, let's see if I get a picture here. So, so I got this thing, which is basically the the V6 upgrade kit. Um, comes with a new metal block, three socks. I was like, I don't want the socks, but they can't take it out. They already packed it, and the thermistor, no heater catchers though. So um, the these socks, if anybody wants them, I'll send them to you. But yeah, that's exactly what my block looks like right now, and I wanted to go back to this, so I ordered the block to kind of get a new one, and I got those heater cartridges. Oh, no, it's stuck in. And we're back. So I got those heater cartridges as well from AliExpress. Um, the ones you get from E3D is exactly the same as the ones you get from AliExpress. So AliExpress has it for like $1 or $2 each. Just get it from them. I think E3D wants like £5 per. So you probably get two or three for the price of one E3D one. If you could wait, if you can't wait, then yeah, just get it from them. But if you could wait, just get it from AliExpress. Um, the block itself, like I said, is like um, £15. Um, get you a new block, get you the new thermistor and all the wiring and the set screw, so you good to go. I think you'll be happy with what's there. Um, the Let me just go look at the spares and extras. Also got the volcano kit, which is this one, the volcano eruption kit. So this is the one way you do it is to sort of cheat and pick up the volcano kit, the four nozzles and the heater catchers for £30. So I got one of these as well because I wanted to see if I needed to use it for the cube. Um, go with that. Like the when later on when I upgrade, I could go with the thicker lines. And then I picked up a bunch of hardened nozzles from them. I was debating on picking up the fun pack. The problem with the fun pack is that like it has like sizes that you never really gonna use, like um 0.25, point 0.3, 0.35, point 0.5, point 0.6, and point 0.8. The difference between 0.25, point 0.3, and 0.35 is so little. You're basically wasting three nozzles just to get 0.05 difference between the three different sizes. I'd rather they gave you like zero point 0.4, which is, I guess they thinking the zero point 0.4 is the standard size and that can give you another one. I'd rather give me a zero point 0.4, a zero point 0.3, and a zero point 0.2. That way there's at least a zero point 0.1 difference between each size. And then they are with like 0.2, 0.3, zero point 0.4, 0.6, 0.8. Then at least I'll be happy with the size differences. But at the price that they want for the three nozzles, that is basically useless. I'm not gonna go with that. Um, the hardened nozzles. I think I just missed it. That's a sword. Yeah. For that's volcano hot nozzle. So um, they have hot nozzles that I picked up a pair just so that I have it for like I have picked up a pair of like point 0.6 and point 0.8 hotter nozzle so that I could use some wood fill that I got. I've been sitting on the wood fill for a while because I didn't want to kind of deal with um, the wood fill, um, like clogging up the nozzle and then wearing it out and stuff like that. So there we go. That's the one I was trying to show you guys. So they want 4.5 pounds for this thing, and on AliExpress is exactly the same. Um, 398, 5 pieces. So for the same price that you pay for, well, actually less, for half what you pay for the E3D, you get 5 of them here. So um, yeah, I don't get it either. Go with like see, that's the thing, right? I'm not sure if I can actually blame it on the router, um, or if so, like I said, I'm not really sure if I can actually blame it on the router or blame it on the connection or what. But to me, like in this day and age, it's a first world problem, right? Like, um, I can't stream. I mean, like that's the issue, right? And then people been like, and it worked fine before, so I can't really blame the router because we're on like what number 20 right now. The first 17, first 16 of them went pretty well. The last four have been shit. So the first 16, if it's been good, I can't blame the router, right? Unless something's drastically wrong with the router right now. Um, the only other thing I blame it on is the fact that I'm going through one, two, three switches before I get to the router. Because the way I had the house wired up is every room is wired with a switch, and then the switch goes to a main switch. But then that one is 24 port Cisco switch is ran out, so I daisy chain another one off of that. So maybe what I should do is give this a try is to run a direct line from this PC to or this Mac to the router, bypass all the switches and see if that solves the problem because that's the only thing I think of. I mean, like if if it's an issue, it should have showed up a long time ago. But anyway, um, yeah, you guys see those? Haribo colored cats. So the shine on it is pretty good on it. I like it. Let's see. Any questions? Um, issues, things you want to talk about. Oh yeah, so I'm not like superhuman either. Layer shift over here. So 75% into this cat, it decided that it's gonna freaking layer shift on me. And yeah, because they got hit, and then it went layer shift. So um, not happy about that. It was like a whole spool um, wasted. So not happy about that. Um, so guess I haven't showed you guys this yet. So one of the tricks I picked up off the forum was when you do the supports. Um, you really can't tell. I really should get another colors just to show you later. But basically, the support, every 10th level of the support or 10th layer of the support, it goes in the opposite direction. So it creates a solid tower. And I mean, I could bend this tower. You could tell like it's got one solid piece. Instead of the kind of the accordion, then you kind of rip out the different pieces, and sometimes a piece gets left behind. This one actually is one solid piece and a little wedge, and it came right off the. No, this is from the old one. The new one is still printing. That's what's the blue thing you see over there being printed right now. That's actually off the new E3D, not E3D, sorry, S3D, Simple i3D. Uh, from what I could tell, the the way it finds the paths and does the printing is actually been pretty good. It's looking pretty nice. It still has that layer zit when it goes layer by layer. No, I don't think you're gonna get rid of that. It's just an artifact. But the rest of it looks pretty good. Um, I noticed that it's slightly, not a lot, slightly faster than the old one in terms of the preview. And I like the fact that um, you could preview and let it run through and see what it does. And it just overall, I think it was a good upgrade. Maybe I wouldn't have called it 4.0. I would have called it 3.2 or 3.3 or whatever the next version number would have been. It's not a major release. Like, I guess I'm this software guy. Like, when you go from 3.1 to 4.0, I expect a whole new release, right? But it's not really a whole new release. It's more of a, I would say it's more incremental. I would have went with 3.3, 3.4, and we still be happy with that. But again, it's free, right? It's a free upgrade. I'm not going to complain too much about it, but I can show you guys what the setting is for this. Um, so in Simple 3D, display capture. So in here, in support, so what I did is down here, you can see it. The first layer is 45 degrees, second layer is negative 45, and it goes 45 degrees for a few layers. So I think I have 10 layers defined here. The second layer goes in the opposite direction. So it creates this solid tower. It's not always useful when you have like, um, in this case where I have a tower holding up this paw and um, another tower holding this paw, then these solid towers come in handy because it'll come right off, right? Like it was one piece. But if you're using the infill, let's say underneath the pan or something where it's going to be like a large surface area with a dense layer, then it doesn't make sense to do it this way. So that's why I said like what I like about S3D is it gives me the opportunity to do tuning like this, where like to change the angle of the infill for the support, and then change the dense layers and the how far away it moves, just like that. Yeah, I tried that, Rob. I tried it where I only have 45 and negative 45, and then it would flip flop between the two because you actually don't need to make a whole list of 45, negative 45, 45, negative 45. It would use the list and repeat by itself. So you only need two, 45 and negative 45, to do what you want. The problem is that then becomes too solid. I mean, this swing, I don't know if you could tell for people FaceTime here. Like this thing, I can still pretty much give it a good twist, right? And you can hear the cracking when I give it a twist. If you have too many solid layers, meaning a solid block, it doesn't twist. It's gonna give you issues. Mainly also when, if just in case your nozzle hits it, this gives a little give on it. Um, Solid block, you can basically also waste like take a lot of time to do to remove that solid block if it touches your model, right? So I think the 45, like the one layer change every eighth layer or 10th layer is pretty good for what I've been my experience been with it. Oh yeah, now I remember. So these came in. Don't know if you guys remember, but the idea is that I would mount this on the bottom of the Z axis, and I would put the lead screw through here and have a gear on the bottom that'll turn this coupler. This coupler has two set screws in it. It's going to hold the lead screw, and then the gear on the bottom is going to be three of these, and there's going to be three of these across the bottom of the printer, and each one of those has a lead screw, and the lead screw will move the Z bed up and down. Um, the the three gears or three pulleys is going to be all connected to the same NEMA 17 or NEMA 23 motor. So basically, one motor will drive all three lead screws at the same time, and it will turn this coupler, which will turn the lead screw and move the bed up and down. The idea being that it'll be all synchronized because there's only one movement being introduced in the whole system. The three screws will allow you to adjust the bed leveling up of the frame at least, and then these are relatively cheap. I think I paid $20 for 10 of these, so about $2 or $3 a piece. So um, they were pretty good. I mean, the overall quality's been pretty good. This is a 10 millimeter version, so it's going to use a 10 millimeter lead screw. Um, I'm probably going to see if I could print the. I'm gonna see if I could print the gear on the bottom, and then that way I could adjust the size of the gear. Been doing what you're saying there for months only, but I once in simple solid mode. Can get this board up. I know, eh? So I guess I'm gonna have to call my SP again tomorrow. Worst case is like I said, I want to switch to fiber. I think I should call back Bell. Bell's been like the Bell Canada has been bugging me about going back to them. So I might have to try them and see if the fiber optics is any good. Um, anyway, I think we're coming up to an hour, and I think it's time. I don't really have much to talk about anyway. Um, so just to wrap up the yeah, I'm gonna try the hot wire. See if I could just back there. You see the panel back there? That's where the router is anyway. So I'm just gonna try a really long wire back there. See if I bypass the switches. It'll be a little bit better. Because I don't see why this would be an issue. I mean, really, this is. But then between me and that switch is three switches. So the first world problem, right? It's like I don't have enough bandwidth. Um, Maybe this cheap ass D-Link switches I got. Maybe I should just get some Cisco ones. So yeah, process elimination. So the plan this week. I know it's Wednesday, and I know there's Hump Day, and I only have 2 days left. The plan this week is to finish the XY joiner. So this piece goes into there, and I should get it on the printer. Um, yeah, they're all switches though. That's the thing. Like all like I haven't had a hub for like 20 years, right? These are all switches, and so the router goes into the Cisco 24 port. I have a D-Link hanging off of that because I ran out of 24 ports. Then this Linksys switch is hooked onto that D-Link switch, which is hooked onto the Cisco switch, which goes into the router. So on the router itself, there's three extra ports. So I'm just gonna go right from here all the way to the router and see if that solves the issue. if that makes it all better for the next like 5 or 6 streams, then fuck it, just gonna leave it and let it be it because I could just run the wire all the way over there anyway. Um, what else? Oh, so like I said, the wrap up. So the plan is to get the XY joiner finally redesigned again so that I have the belt on the back side, not the front and back, just the back side. Um, Minimal. Get the belt attachment points. Get this on the printer, and then um, wire up the controller. Move the XY. Think that's the plan for the next week and a half. So by the end of the month, I want that thing moving X and Y. And then once I do that, then I'll send out the pots, like the way the pots are, send those out, the STLs out to whoever's the one alpha test. I think Donna wants to do that, and um, then I'll get those pots out, and then uh, yeah, I don't have a lot of land traffic. That's the problem. All of these guys basically all go out to the internet. Like my dad watches streams, and the wife does. I do. So, um, I think what I need to do is really just. Mm, wow, the loose focus. There you go. I think what I need to do is actually just suck it down and well, the laptop's overheating for sure, so maybe the laptop's causing the drops. I'm not sure. That's the thing, like process elimination, right? Um, what was I saying? Um, yeah, it's just suck it down and then go buy another 24 port Cisco, and then just link them by the that port. They have that port that links one Cisco to another. I'm just gonna use that and then basically daisy chain off another 24 port off that. Then rewire the other 3 switches off of that to all of them be on the same Cisco switch. But I think I paid like $400 last time for that Cisco switch. I didn't really want to pay that $400 for that switch. So um, I'll see what happens there. Um, oh yeah, now I remember. Um, this the 20 millimeter version uses M4 T nuts. Um, the 12 millimeter version uses M3. Like these little tiny buggers, they use M3 T nuts. So whether that makes any difference at all, I have to see. Um, you know what I think I'm gonna do is actually go and actually get a small. I have tons of those small PCs. I actually run PF Sense. See if that should makes any difference because I play with PF Sense all day today, and it's once I got past the learning curve, it's actually pretty good to use. It has QoS, so I might do QoS traffic shaping, and then see if I can like basically kill this problem once and for all. Again, it's one of those things where like I got 6 other things I have to do, and I guess having a network issue is not one of them that I want to deal with right now. I've been falling behind on the design and then on cats and tons of different other things. I haven't had the chance to ride my scooter all summer this year or last year, so um, there's way too many things happening at the same time. So hopefully, the least amount of work is for me to hotwire this one all the way back to the router, and if that solves it for the short term, let's just leave it at that. If it doesn't, then I guess I'll look at PF Sense or replacing that router and that switch. And I have to deal with the NAS that it's been failing. So it's like I don't want to deal with it. Anyway, have a good night, you guys. I know it's like I should be more prepared, but at least then you guys to see what I've been working on and um, I'll catch up with you guys on Saturday. Oh, and thanks, John, for fixing the cert problem because I wasn't able to get on all afternoon and actually got some work done. So thanks for fixing that. Expired certification certificate, failing failure on the expiring SSL certificate. That was a good job. Thumbs up. I'll catch up with you guys later. Okay.